Hello darlings, I have two new journals to present to you today, and actually these are journals that I have made well over 1 year ago, but I haven't been able to decide which kind of covers I would make them. And Asea Sisters Part 1 and Part 2, I also struggled with the decision to make that should they be one journal or should I make 2 volumes. And then I decided I would make 2 of those. They are in the end they are really independent even if the story continues. So now I present you Learning to Fly and To Dreamland. And this is the one I will show you now. These covers are really similarish. I have made them in the same style, but of course the trinkets are a bit different because this is a vintage one and I hadn't another one, so here is a bit different decorations. And now I put this aside. This is needing another introduction, a video of its own, and so now it's this one. It's Learning to Fly, and you will soon notice why the name. But here is trinkets in there, some sari silks, and a handmade fabric cover that I have made using leather paper that's in the middle of in there. So this fabric is covering it from this side, and this tiny cheesecloth-ish, really thin, light cotton fabric is from here, but on this side, but it makes it a bit more sturdy and not so bending to handle. And here we start and go. Create your own reality. And there are all the tiny little details, and you need to remember this is a journal that I have made I think 1.5 years ago, so it's a really old one. It's just the covers that I have made lately, and actually these covers are made with materials that I have hand dyed with plants from our own garden, so it's a really special one too. But I have included some butterflies on each page, the storyteller, in different kinds of forms. For example, it's in here and here. And for this journal, I have tried to, as you can see, these are the die cut parts from butterflies. This is a journal, part 1, of materials that are scraps and leftover materials from other projects. So I kind of wanted to challenge me to create beautiful journals with meaning and a story using only scraps of papers. Of course I had to use some larger papers to create the pages, but all the materials are something that is left over from another projects, which made the creating this really interesting, but I enjoyed it enormously. So that's why you are going to see a lot of different kind of die cuts and pieces. Oh, there's Dream. Look, sitting here. And a lot of not my usual things. but I loved the process of just letting go. And imagine a fortunate find, just at the moment being enchanted in my dreams. And and one little detail, there is also numbers on every single page that includes those butterflies. I wanted it to be a kind of learning, a lesson book for flying, so that's a tiny little detail. A wonderful creature. See, it has only a couple of pieces. It's a scrap of Tim Holtz paper with another scrap of Tim Holtz paper with two clippings from Tim Holtz, of course. But I love the simplicity of these tiny little things. And here is how the page looks from there. And I am not sure because I already... Oh, it's just a decoration piece. I have made it so long ago that I don't remember what thing moves and what is not movable. But here it is. All kind of tiny little scraps in there. And also tabs. I love tabs, as you may have noticed. And imagine you are magic. Challenge the world. And then there's this butterfly. And another tag made of scraps. Fragments of the soul. Now is the time. It's a subject well worth considering. I love how you can tell stories like this. And as you can detect, there are a lot of scraps from die cuts and laces and bits and pieces, and it's funny. And here, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world. Harriet Tubman. And then a tiny butterfly in there too. I'll put it there. I managed to drop this one off from here. And there are these butterflies and numbers in there. They told me to grow roots. Instead, I grew wings. I have typed it with my vintage typewriter. I never stop wondering how wonderful things you can do from nearly nothing. I mean, from leftovers, from scraps you usually would just throw away. But when you use them like this, suddenly they are treasured part of art piece. And that's one of the main reasons, because sometimes I feel myself to be a leftover piece because of the, having a brain injury and all the chronic illnesses and not being able to work anymore and just being a disabled pensioner at the age of 40. So somehow it's really meaningful for me to use the scraps, to things normally people disregard as something unuseful. For me, those are the treasures, the broken parts, the tiny little things that are just shrugged off or discarded. Sorry for the lecture, sorry. It's just I can't seem to avoid the subject. Nothing beyond. Simplified. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. True, isn't it? And what we have here is, for example, we have here a tiny little scrap of handwritten letter from the 1890s. That makes it look really special. And just a tiny little, you wear your broken pieces beautifully. We just talk about those broken pieces, and I really didn't remember there was this inside in there. I haven't opened the book for a year maybe, so it's almost as big a surprise for me than it's for you, because I can't remember anything that well. Okay, how's this supposed to work? Like this. Okay, let's close this one. And the story of our lifetime. Actually, it starts from here. A time of wonders. The story of our lifetime. Your now is not your forever, said John Green, and it's also typed with my typewriter. A tiny little tag. And wooden vintage button. It's a lovely little detail in there. And let's see how I need to glue them. I love the thing called clippings, but the glue isn't the best, and sometimes they just start to peel off. And whisper to my heart, you just hold on. Every road should have a path. Lesson 13. 13 is my favorite number. It's my birthday number. So I have born Friday the 13th. So it's my favorite day. Oh, it's learning to fly. Believe in yourself. Number 42 tells a lot of those who have been reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And if you haven't, just so you know that it is the answer to life, universe, and everything. 42. Ta-da. Don't forget to fly. Believe yourself in little more. Believe in yourself a little more. Sorry, it's been so long since I have been showing you my journals that I simply am not used to it anymore. I search for words and so on, but it's also because there has been So many things in my mind lately that it's it's a thing when today's when there is an explosion of things in your mind and you just try to focus on something. So sorry for my babbling. And to Dreamland, and this refers to the next book. And here's also, as you can see, there's the scraps from all kinds of projects I have made. And lesson 175, Within My Heart, Circle of Light. And that was it. Part 1 of my project. And next it will be this one. But I hope you got inspired and remembered that and realized, if you of course haven't already, that it's those tiny little details that makes all the difference usually. So don't throw anything away, but use them in a way that astonish even yourself. And I wish you inspiring moments, and I hope you liked, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye bye, darlings.